Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we are going to be checking out the MattelCreations.com exclusive Sunman from Rulers of the Sun. Yes, this, of course, has been a pretty big deal as of late. Sunman, of course, is from a vintage toy line called Rulers of the Sun that was produced in the 80s by Olmec Toys. And now Sunman and all of those characters have been officially brought in to the Masters of the Universe world. And the very first release in this line is this exclusive version that went on sale through MattelShop.com. So this was a pre-order from last year. It is finally shipping right now, and we're going to dive in and check it out. Now, a few things to note about this overall package. First of all, this particular Sunman does ship within a exclusive mailer box. So we've got the Sunman logo on there. We've got some great artwork of Sunman on both sides of that box. And one of the things that is housed within that box along with the figure is this really nice little card here, which is your certificate of authenticity. This is actually some really nice cardstock. It's embossed in gold. And when you flip it around to the back side here, we've got a signature by Willa Eason, who is the original creator of Sunman. I thought this was a nice little bonus. And on top of that, the packaging for this release is also special. There's going to be a retail version of Sunman as well, but that one will just come in the standard Origins packaging. This one actually mimics the vintage Rulers of the Sun packaging, which is very, very nice. So we've got this orange and red burst behind the figure. We've got Sunman across the top real big instead of the Masters of the Universe logo. And then you can see the Sunman figure on the inside, interchangeable head, and some absolutely gorgeous artwork on the back. Once again, supplying the amazing artwork is Axel Jimenez and Fetch Francisco, who have done some incredible stuff on the Origins line. And one of the things I like about this package is this is collector-friendly packaging, meaning you can just slide the card back out and you can easily remove the figure, meaning if you want to put them back in, it's very easy to do so. But on top of that, this card back also folds out into a brand new comic book that gives you a bit of a backstory on Sunman and his arch nemesis Pighead. It's filled with gorgeous artwork all the way through. It's a fun little story, and on the backside, you even can expand that out so you can see some gorgeous artwork of Pighead over there on the right, which also means you can fold this up differently if you'd rather this be the back of the card back. That's something you can do. Overall, I really, really love the packaging. I mean, this with the certificate of authenticity, the artwork, the mailer box, it really does make this feel like a true exclusive. So really nice packaging overall. So now we're going to go ahead and get Sunman pulled out of this box, and we'll get a closer look at that figure. All right, we've got our exclusive Sunman outside of the packaging. Of course, if I bring in the tape measure, you can see that he is just shy of 6 inches tall, fitting in with that 5.5-inch scale that we've seen for all of the Masters of the Universe Origins figures, as well as the vintage Masters of the Universe line and the vintage Rulers of the Sun line, which is where this guy comes from. Now, very much like the vintage Sunman action figure, you do need to attach the wing pieces of his costume there, and they actually attach in a similar way where they clip around the front of the neck. Now, with these newer figures, of course, you've got the option to swap the head off, and that actually makes it a lot easier. So you can see you can fit the wings right over the neck there. And then we can take the head and pop it in place. And that makes it so it can still kind of move around the neck, but it doesn't hinder the articulation at all. And this is our overall look for the character. It looks very much like the vintage Sunman action figure. Now, I know these kind of look like wings, and it's weird how it's in the front of his neck, but to me, that always looked more like a decoration on his outfit, right? Like that it was adorned with feathers. Not necessarily that these were supposed to actually be wings, but I know that the redesign in the Masterverse line has actual wings sprouting out of his back. So I don't know. That's just my interpretation of this look for this character. It's very, very unique. Now, the body itself, of course, the base body in there is very similar to what we've seen for all of the normal human-type figures in the Origins line, like He-Man and such. But you can see there's a lot of new pieces going on here because we've got new forearm bracers, we've got these new boots, even the pelvis here is all new. And this, of course, is all to match the look of the vintage Sunman action figure and his unique costume. His armor piece sits over the neck, and here, let me go and just pull this back off again just so I can show you how it actually just kind of slides over. And it's nice because it's actually a harder plastic, but that's because it's vac metalized. Look at that. You can see the vac metal on the inside. So I'm not sure if the retail version will be the same kind of stiffness that this armor is. It might be that softer, more pliable plastic we've seen on all the other armor in Origins. But since this version here has all the shiny paint, that's what makes it unique compared to the retail version that you're going to get. So underneath, you can see it's very metallic, very shiny, got that vac metalized silver, but on the outside, it's just painted with the red and the gold, and that actually makes it look like a very shiny red and gold. It's very nice. So yeah, it just kind of pops over the figure there. We'll get this guy all assembled again. And then you've got that same kind of metallic red and yellow seen on the wrist bracers and the boots. All of the shiny elements there are very nice and definitely make this figure stand out. So the head sculpt is very similar to that of the vintage figure. I will say, I think I prefer the vintage figure's look just a little bit to this one. It's something about the eyes in the new one. I don't know if they're just not painted good. They almost seem a little too cartoony to me. But otherwise, it's not that bad of a deco at all. Like I said, the sculpt looks very similar to the vintage. We'll stand those side by side a little bit later so you can see what I'm talking about as we compare them. Otherwise, articulation on here is exactly what you would expect out of Origins. It all functions the same way, with the arms going outwards, forwards, backwards. You got swivel at the elbow, bend at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, hinge joint at the wrist. You can turn the torso left and right. Legs go outwards, forwards, backwards, swivel at the knee, bend at the knee, swivel at the boot. Ankles move forwards, backwards, and rock side to side. And of course, you do have all of the same swappable parts that we have with the rest of the Origins line, so you can pop this guy apart in all those different places. Now, this particular version here, another thing that makes it different from the retail release is that he comes with some interchangeable pieces. First of all, we have a swappable head, and I actually think I like this head a little bit better than the standard head. This is like your angry head or your battle head there. So he's got the teeth gritting. You can see he's got the angrier eyebrows. I don't know. I think it looks a little bit better, just in my personal opinion there. Now, you can see he's also got two gripping hands, and if you want to, you can swap those out for two closed fists. So that way we can get some punching action, or of course you can mix and match those to your desired pose. But it's very nice that we've got these extra pieces in there, and all of those swappable parts, of course, work so very well here in the Origins lineup. So as far as accessories go, he does have his shield. This is modeled after the vintage one, but you can see it's got a little bit of that metallic going on there. The yellow specifically has a really nice shine to it. I don't know if that's coming across on camera, but it's definitely there. It's a different metallic than what we see on his armor. It's not vac metalized, but it's definitely got a nice little glimmer to it. It's really cool. So the underside you can see very similar to like this type of shield we have for He-Man, where he can grip it on the grip on the front, and then it also clips onto his wrist. You can find, it's always a little tricky lining that up. There you go. And it actually clips onto the forearm very nicely there. And then we've got his spear weapon from the vintage line. This is just a solid red plastic, though it is a bit of a glossy plastic. So you can see it's a bit shinier than some of the other accessories we've had in this line. It's also nice and rigid, so it's not super pliable, and you can get him to hold onto it with the handle just fine with either one of his gripping hands. The last accessory for this piece is this yellow flame or energy burst. It is meant to plug onto the top of the spear there as if he's drawing the power of the sun into battle. Now, this is a very heavy accessory. I will say that. It's very solid feeling. It's neat. It's translucent. It looks really cool. But because it's very heavy, you are going to run into issues with his arm drooping when it's on there. You can kind of see that. Sometimes the wrist flips like that. So it's just a really, really heavy effect. So I don't know if it's going to work so well for posing that on your shelf. It's a neat inclusion. It's just one of those things that I really do feel like if you try to put it on your shelf like that, eventually that weight is going to win out and it's going to just, bring the arm down. But still, it's an extra inclusion, and I assume that this will not be included with the retail release. All right, guys. It's comparison time. So here is the brand new Mattel Creations exclusive version of Sunman in the Origins line, standing alongside the vintage action figure counterpart from Olmec Toys. So that way you can see what the original one looks like standing alongside the new version. You can see Mattel was very faithful to that original version there. They look very, very similar, but with the updated articulation and swappable parts of the Origins line. So there you go, my friends. That is a look at the new Mattel Creations exclusive version of Sunman, joining Masters of the Universe officially. If you guys haven't already, make sure you check out my retrospective on Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun in case you want more information on exactly who this guy is and why it is significant that he is now officially part of Masters of the Universe. And as I've mentioned a few times, there is a retail version of this as well. I'm going to be taking a look at it very soon. That one is very much the same. It's just lacking a lot of the extra accessories like the interchangeable hands, and it does not have the metallic paint deco. That one is also hitting store shelves right now, but this one here was exclusive to Mattel Creations and unfortunately sold out pretty quickly. So at this point, you'll have to find this guy on the aftermarket. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and until next time.